It just passed 15 months since I got this bike, so I think it's the time just to let you know how was it, this bike, over 15 months time. Did I have any issue? Did I have any problems? Would I like it? Would I dislike it? And would I buy it again? And would I recommend this bike for you? Since I've got this bike 15 months ago, I only cover about 7,000 kilometers. It's not much, I know it's nothing for that kind of bike, but unfortunately I don't ride this bike 12 months period. I ride only when it's nice, good weather, like today for example. Even it's not too hot, it's only 13 degrees, so but it's okay. I live in Ireland, so anytime when it's not raining, it's a good weather, just take bike out. So yeah, 7,000, nothing for this bike, and I wish I could cover more mileage. But let me start from the beginning. Since I've got it, I put loads of accessories on this bike. Started from January in Triumph accessories. I put the tank pad, central tank pad, just to protect the tank from scratches. I put also Triumph engine cases, just in case if I flick this bike down. Put also Triumph front forks protectors and stand bobbins to use my bike stand to do the services, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. Then I didn't decide go for any cheap route, and I went for the Evotech accessories. So I got the Evotech radiator guard. I got also Evotech bar end weights. Also I've got Evotech tail tidy, Evotech frame sliders, and aftermarket black screen which actually match the black color of the bike. I use this bike mostly at the weekends or wherever I have a time for just quick blast around the block, around Bendies, or if I have to go to the town, because I don't want to just stuck with the car in traffic. So that's the purpose of my riding with this bike. For those kind of ridings, this bike is a perfect machine. So over 15 months, obviously I've done the first service with the Triumph dealer after 4,000 kilometers. The second service after 1 year, because I didn't do the mileage, so 1 year I done myself. I thought, like, you know, it's simple enough. I trust the brand. I don't think I'm gonna have any issue in the second year, so I decided to do it myself. So I changed the oil filter. I put the Motul 7100 10W40 oil, and I bought from the Triumph filter and the sun plug seal. As for the air filter, I decide not to go for Triumph or any paper filter. I decide go for the high airflow filter, in this case K&N. So what changed that K&N filter? I can't tell you exactly if I gain any power, because I didn't test this bike before or after, but definitely what I can notice is the sound coming from the airbox. It's more pronounced sound. It's just more kind of grand sound, like, you know, bass sound coming from the airbox. Also, I think the bike becomes slightly more responsive. That's all what I notice. Also, in the future, this filter can be washed and oil with the Canon oil, so I don't have to change it anymore. Like, you know, just wash it, clean it, and just put it back. So, like I said, I didn't experience any faults, any problems with this bike. Everything works as it should work. So far, twice I had to just adjust the chain. That's it. Obviously, I maintain the chain around 400, 500, 600 kilometers wherever I have a time, but I try to not exceed 600 kilometers for the wash and lube the chain. So that's the story. Do I like this bike? Yes, I still like this bike. I think that was the right time in my life period. Probably was the last moment when I got this bike. I was fancy this bike, the Street Triple, since Triumph released that. That was the fourth generation of 675 Street Triple. I love this bike. Back then I couldn't afford it, and after few attempts to buy second-hand bikes, that didn't work, because anytime I just went to buy the second-hand bike was already sold. And I'm not the young person anymore, so let's be honest, this is the sport naked bike. It's not quite upper straight position, it is quite sporty, especially around your legs, around the knee. It is quite bendy, like, you know, sport position. I know it has a handlebar, not the clip-ons, but you can't change the nature of this motorcycle. It's a basically pure sport machine without the fairings and with the handlebar. Doesn't matter what you're gonna put on this bike, it's always gonna be a sport machine. The characteristic of this engine, the way how this motorcycle rides, it's a pure sport machine. That's why if somebody plans to buy this bike, like me, just enjoy few hours the weekends during the week, take this bike on the bendy roads up to the mountains, maybe commuting to work if you have to deal with the traffic. That's absolutely fantastic machine. And also if you want to take this bike to the track, this bike needs nothing. Straight out of the dealer floor, this bike is ready to go on the track. Has sport tires, lovely brakes. Also the position on the track, the way this bike is handling cornering, it will let you enjoy and unlock full potential of this bike on the track, especially if you have a skills or if you want to practice your skills on the track. This bike, I tell you, this bike, it's not a touring bike. So whoever plans to buy this bike because he likes the look, he likes the potential of this bike, but he never tested, never rode this bike, but only, like, you know, heard amazing things from YouTube, from the friends about this bike, and desire to buy this bike, I tell you straight away, this is not a tour bike. I know you're gonna tell me there's few people took this bike on the long trips around the Europe or wherever. I can only say fair play, and I just, like, you know, can't imagine how can you suffer riding this bike for hours on the open stretch road or motorways, because first of all, there's nothing to protect you. Okay, this small screen is more likely only for the aesthetic look. It just probably like, you know, finish off this bike much nicer when you buy this bike. It's just like, you know, for me it's kind of unfinished looked, but maybe slightly push the wind out of the, like, you know, a little bit of your chest. But when you keep riding with this speed on this bike, with this bike on the motorway, I tell you, you're exposed to all the nature, so you can feel the wind or your helmet. There's no protection on your hands from the wind. There's no protection from the wind or from your legs. You just, like, you know, blown. Faster you ride, you feel all that wind blast around you, and that after a while becomes tired, very tired, I can tell you. I've been, like, you know, only rode for a while on motorways with a speed 120 up to 160, and I don't know how you can ride for hours on motorways. So definitely I don't recommend this bike as a tour. Second thing, this bike is a solo riding machine. I know it comes with a pillion seat, but believe me, first of all, the seat is very small. Second thing, which is more important, if you put a passenger on the back seat, you put the extra load of this bike, and with extra load on the rear, this bike becomes very unstable, very unpredictable, and it's just easy received to crash you and your passenger. To be able riding with the passenger at the back, first of all, you will have to change the preload. Unfortunately, to change preload on this machine, it's not that easy. Of course you can change, there's no problem, but what you need is a C-spanner to be able to change the preload. And if I think that I have to change every single time, just take the C-spanner, clog down, just preload this bike to be able to take the passenger extra weight, and then after short ride back again this preload for the single passenger, like, you know, for the single rider, it's just pain in the arse, I tell you. It's not like, you know, for example, Yamaha MT-09, which has a quick preload knob that you can adjust quickly and efficient, so you can take the pillion no problem, because you can adjust the preload and you can ride. But on this one, it's too much hassle, I tell you, it's too much hassle. Plus, like I said, it's very uncomfortable, and then even if you adjust the preload, you can feel the extra load on the back. This is only small bike with very short wheelbase, so definitely you can take the passenger maybe for the short journey up to the shop and back, like, you know, buy the bread and milk. But definitely, I tell you, this is not the two people motorcycle, so just forget it, and then just don't think you're gonna sacrifice. No way, there's no chance. It's one person machine, you can ride and you can enjoy yourself. So hopefully I shine some light and just explain for those people who just plan, because I heard, oh, I love the Street Triple, I'm gonna ride with my partner, wife, or wherever. No, this is not the bike that you want to buy and ride with your partner. If you want a bike to ride with a passenger, just think about something bigger. Prepare for the riding with the extra passenger. To have an extra seat with this bike doesn't mean anything. On this extra seat which you got with the bike, you can put maybe, like, you know, some small luggage back or wherever. I actually use for the, like, you know, small bag that I can carry some bottle of water, maybe, like, you know, the rain gears or wherever. I'm not the young person, and after a while, after like, you know, couple hours of riding, I can feel my legs slightly my back, because at the moment I forgot to mention, I put the bar risers, which absolutely just transformed this bike to much more comfortable. Like, you know, the leg position still slightly bent, even I rise up the seat height. I changed the geometry to the same as the new 2023-2024 Street has it. I was very simple, just matter of put extra washer and the clevis that's raised up about 11 millimeters the seat height. So at the moment I have a 836 millimeter seat height, exactly same as the latest Street Triple ORS model and Moto 2 edition. But the handlebar raisers, I tell you, wow, transform my upper body position. Lovely, lovely. It's not still straight up, but allows me for much longer ride, because not only lift up the handlebar about 30 millimeters, but also bring back towards me, so the handlebar is much closer to me, which is much nicer. Still I can feel front wheel. There's no problems with the handling or anything like that. People ask me if I can fully turn this bike. No problem. Also I bought, including the handlebars, the extension of the brake cable, but I actually found out that the brake cable, actually in my case, I don't know, in your case could be different, was long enough. I had to just loose all that cable ties, extend the cable, and it's long enough without any stretch of the cable. I can fully turn this bike, and I didn't have to actually put this extension cable. But even if I have, there is no problem. So yes, like you see, at the evening I can go out, enjoy, for like, you know, even for the quick blast, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half back home, just clear my mind after, like, you know, full day of work, and be happy, go to bed with a clear of mind. This is, I tell you, for me, bike is like, you know, like a therapist. Would I recommend this bike, and would I buy this bike again? Yes, if you never owned this bike and really truly you think you will fit into the riding style of this bike, like I mentioned, the sport riding, as you can see, you can do kind of urban riding. But one bad thing about this bike, it's very hard to keep this bike with the speed limit. I tell you, it's like, you know, when I ride 50 kilometers, like, you know, it's so boring. It's so boring. Like, you know, probably I can't go over the second gear. Like, you know, second gear it's the gear which you can allow this ride this bike, because third gear is just like, you know, the ref's probably too low. That is so boring, I tell you. This bike is just pusher. It push you just like, you know, to do stupid things. I tell you, I was never ever believe or thought that I'm gonna be a hooligan again. Like, you know, that this bike wakes up the old hooligan is from me. Like, you know, it's just crazy. Like, you know, it push you and push you, like, you know, around the corners, and probably, I don't know, you may heard, like, you know, with this bike you can go beyond your limits. Yes, it's true. I can tell you from my experience, I'm not the pro rider. I have some riding experience, but definitely this bike, to unlock the full potential, you need a skilled rider. Oh man, you probably will never get to full possibility to riding this bike, to like, you know, to full potential that this bike can show you. And also, in my opinion, it's very, very safe bike, because the way this bike is designed, the way it's handling around the corners, the way it goes around the bends. But back to the subject, would I recommend it? Yes, like I said, if you're on the market for the sport naked machine, you know, you're fully aware what is this bike, what type of riding this bike is gonna offer you. Yes, buy it. You won't regret it. It's absolutely perfect handling motorcycle. Would I buy it again? To be honest, no. And I tell you why no. Because I already own this bike, and changing even to the new Street Triple, which I was able to ride many times, because a friend of mine actually bought that 2023. I don't feel much different between this one and the new one. Obviously, like I said, the only quick shifter is much nicer. The power, it's exactly the same. I know it has a little extra few horses more, but those horses sit very, very high on the rev scale. The only difference is just the new Street Triple feels more playful due to, like, you know, different sprockets and shorter gears. So you just, like, you know, change the gears like a maniac, boom boom boom, up and down, because the short gears. So at the beginning you're definitely gonna enjoy that kind of gear change, but after a while it becomes like kind of okay, I have to just again flick the gear down or up because it's shorter. This one definitely has a longer gears. So like I said, for me, I really don't feel that much different between this and the new one. Of course there is different, belief there is. If you want to buy Street Triple and you have the money, definitely go for the new one. If you're on the budget, go for the second hand, this one, or even the previous gen from 2017 to 2020. So that's the reason why I wouldn't buy, because I know this bike, I enjoyed this bike, so I wouldn't buy. Or there is another or but. If I wouldn't have this bike and I was on the market for naked bike, I wouldn't buy this bike as well. I tell you why. I wouldn't buy this bike these days. This actually year I wouldn't buy. Last year, yes, I would buy, but this year I wouldn't buy because of the new Yamaha MT-09 SP. Compare money to money, value to value, what those bikes offer for the money. The new Yamaha SP, remember SP, not standard one, SP, offer much more, in my opinion, remember, in my opinion, than the Street Triple RS, even the new model. So we compare the new Street Triple to the MT-09 SP new model 2024. Why? Because the new Yamaha finally was revised properly, not only with some body revise panels, different front end, but also got full Brembo Stanlima brakes with the master cylinder. Also the new shocks at the back as well, the all-in shock with the quick preload adjuster, which is much nicer compared to this one, which you have to adjust with the spanner. The body position, body riding will be very similar, compared to the last model, because you have very similar position to this one. You more lean over the bike, so you can feel more front end of this bike. Also the bike got the new TFT display, which is much nicer than this one, and 2023 Street Triple has the cruise control. So if you compare all that and what you have to pay to the new Street Triple, definitely MT-09 SP offer more for same money. And also MT-09 engine, the last year model, or this one, actually this one I wasn't able to ride, but I believe it's exactly same engine. It's just wow, I tell you. Street Triple, it's nice engine, but MT-09, it's just wow, so much torque. It's actually more usable on the road. Like if you have to race, probably on the race on the track, Street Triple will win with that extra top end power. But on the takeoff, I tell you, I'm nearly sure MT-09 will win anytime. And in city road riding condition, I think MT-09 engine is much better offer. Okay, I've said few friends from my group which we're riding together. One has the, actually two of them, they have the 2021 and 2020, I think it was 3 MT-09 SPs, and I have this 2022 Street Triple RS, and another friend has 2023 Street Triple RS, and we from time to time swap the bikes just to feel and just compare how they feels the other bike. So I tell you, wow, that engine from Yamaha MT-09 SP is just so addictive, so good, that I think, that I tell you, Street Triple, unfortunately I have to say, can't compete. So in those two scenarios, I wouldn't buy the Street Triple. Up to last year, 2023, when the new MT-09 wasn't released or wasn't offered with all that updates, that was match 50-50. Whatever you will buy, you will enjoy. Also, in my opinion, last year model of the MT-09 SP wasn't that good looking as this year. Like, you know, Yamaha really like update that models, update, like, you know, with the panels, with the front end, with split seat. So definitely looks much nicer. Also, what I found out, as usually is with the Yamaha, you have to straight away when you buy the Yamaha change the seat, because the stock seat, it's just I tell you, like sitting on the plank of wood, so uncomfortable. So yes, that's my answer. Not taking out from the Street Triple, it's still a great machine, but every year competition gets stronger and stronger. So, and I don't care if you don't like my opinion, that's my opinion. But if you are a true fan, and even if you want to buy this bike just to try, it's just absolutely bonker. Like I said, you can't ride this bike slow, you can't. So be prepared that anytime soon you're gonna be stopped by the guards, by the police, and be prepared to pay the fines or maybe lose the license. I really have to watch my bike all the time when I ride, like, you know, in the city environment, in the town, because it's a stupid bike. Stupid bike. And the same MT-09, don't get me wrong, MT-09, it's even worse. It's the torque monster, really machine monster, I tell you. It's even worse than this one. What the plans for the next bike? I don't know. Definitely I'm grown out from sport bikes. I love them. I love them to the bits. I love how they ride, how they look. But the ready position, they're not for me anymore. I'm getting old, and I'm start more looking into, like, you know, long trips, long riding. With this bike, with my previous sport bikes, I know everything around me. So I want to discover something more, go something further. I will start looking for some kind of adventure style bike. I was already ride the Tigers, so maybe Tiger 900 GT Pro, maybe Ridey Pro. I tried the 1200 GT Pro. Now it doesn't flow my boat. It's great bike, nice bike, but for some reason bit heavy, bit big. Now if I have to go for the big heavy adventure bike, maybe KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, or maybe the new coming out 1390 Super Adventure S. I will have to try it first. I heard so many good things, but also I heard a few things about the KTM reliability, so I don't know. I have to just dig up more into that KTM and find out what the story is with the KTM. Also, I was thinking the new 1100 Africa Twin Adventure Sport with the 19-inch wheel. Maybe that's the one. I don't know. When the time becomes, I will have a look, I will check, and then I will decide what to change, what to go for, what to change this beautiful bike for the next one. But definitely I will think for some nice, comfortable, straight up riding motorcycle, which will be able to take me for the long journey, and will be able to take the passenger with me as well. So that's it. If I didn't mention something, if you want to ask me something, just ask me in the comment section. Just remember, this is my opinions about this bike, about MT-09, about my future bikes. You could be different, your style riding could be different, so maybe you have a different view, different perspective about this bike, about the riding. This bike, it doesn't lack of anything, so I can tell you can enjoy this bike. See you next video. Enjoy your motorcycle. And ride safe and enjoy every single of your ride. Bye bye.